Once upon a time in 1965, in the suburbs of northwest London, there was born a little boy called Austin Vince. His whole family had the wanderlust, a family where a road trip was the norm, but none more keen to break out and just to get away than little Austin. Consequently, his older brother Gerald and other sisters were constantly having to find him and return him to the family group. He was known as the Little Monkey, and in 1970 taught both his mother and brother Gerald how to ski, climb, and breakdance. With a backdrop of the 1970s, Austin's early years were an unhealthy fusion of flares, industrial dispute, and Catholic ritual. However, he came out the other end unmolested and blossomed into a robust and self-disciplined train spotter. This obsession with detail would blossom at school into a love of geography and especially map reading. Time spent in the Scouts would cement this passion, but the explosion needed a detonator. And that came when Austin discovered motorbikes. In his 20s, Austin, some old college buddies, and his brother Gerald launched Mondo Enduro. They were the first people to ride the Road of Bones and reach the Siberian prison outpost of Magadan. Despite Mondo Enduro taking 440 days, upon their return to England, the maps were unrolled once more, and in 1999, while Austin took a break from being a London courier, the Vince brothers were out exploring the Spanish Pyrenees. No internet, no GPS, map and compass. Old school. In 2001, they were off around the world again on a trip named Terra Circa. This saw them being the first people to get motorcycles across Siberia's legendary Zilov Gap, a 400-mile wilderness of mud, mosquitoes, and endless river crossings. After crossing Japan and then the USA, Austin was back in London, resuming his life as the courier who was never afraid of the awkward package, and then back in the classroom, teaching schoolkids in Middlesex. However, back at school, he was finding it hard to concentrate in class, since he had encountered on a 1965 BSA an extraordinary girl called Lois Price. They enjoyed a few motorcycle holidays together and in no time were a couple and thrilled to be getting married. Even better news for Austin, Lois agreed to spend their honeymoon making his latest brainwave come true, riding with him around the Pyrenees and setting up a dirt bike, map-reading, orienteering event. What a game girl! And in the summer of 2004, southwest of Andorra, they laid out 36 checkpoints and the Vince was born. But creating a Navaganza isn't actually that straightforward. The first step is to select where the event is to be held. Spain is mapped by the Centro Nacional de Información Geográfica with a 1 to 50,000 tiling system that covers every inch of the nation. For 2020, Austin Vince has selected a brand new area south of the Pyrenees known as Matarranya. Every map in the CNIG coverage is exactly 20 kilometers by 30 kilometers. One sheet from this series simply isn't enough for a dirt bike event, but 4 combined gives up almost 800 square miles of wilderness to ride and explore. The next step is map preparation back in the office. The unglamorous but essential backroom work that underpins every event. Initially, a schematic is drawn showing every single asphalt route, major or minor, idealized as horizontal, vertical, or diagonal lines with towns reduced to finite nodes. The job of a trail riding event planner is to keep the riders off the asphalt and on the dirt tracks. If you want a team to ride a trail, that trail must be on the map. The magnifying glass comes out as you search the map for the longest trails, tarmac to tarmac, that you can find. Itty-bitty trails are of little use, so at this early stage, they are discarded. It is long, flowing through routes that are the prize. If these routes cross each other at right angles, aligned north-south as well as east-west, all the better. There needs to be a network of about 600 miles of trails on offer. Initially, checkpoints are sensibly scheduled for the intersections of trails, like on a city metro system. If a trail is particularly long, it might warrant 2 checkpoints, relatively close together, deep inland, just to keep things interesting. If there's a local landmark or beauty spot like an abandoned monastery, then this makes for an ideal checkpoint. Remember, in the final event, Austin wants the checkpoint system to be an assurance so that every few miles you get a welcome confirmation that says, yes, you are here! The first theoretical paper outline of the event. However, before these trails can be ridden and proved, there must first happen Operation Lamination.
So we don't want people during the setup and the preparation phase having to carry around a 760 square mile map, so I made them a small one. So you photograph the bit of the map that's special to them, insert it into a Word document, print that out, then write some instructions on here about what you want them to do. And so you'll be saying to the squad, right from here to here, try and put the checkpoint here. This is the Ermita de San Marcos, a ruined chapel up in the mountains, so that'll be a nice spot for a picnic and a checkpoint. And once you've laminated that, that can become a kind of task sheet for checkpoint 634. Brilliant. Well, there's only 80 checkpoints, so you've got to do that 80 times. And then eventually, for the squads, I've got 4 squads working for about 7 days. And I'm in one of them, in case you think I'm just sitting on a golden throne while these people are whizzing around the mountains sweating. So, for example, here's Squad C. At the end of the collation, they've got to do 634 and 622 and 611, 616, and so on and so on. And all of these maps have been created, each one telling them where they've got to go, what they've got to do, how many checkpoints there are. This has got an A3 enlargement on it. And so the whole idea is that nobody gets lost during the setup.
The final task before Austin's crew leave for Spain concerns what the event participants will actually be searching for. These aluminum plaques are designed to have long lives and are strings of random letters and numbers that form the bedrock of the event. The plaques are handcrafted in a secret workshop by a precision specialist. Finally, the setup team can make its way to Spain. 5 vans, 14 motorbikes, and 16 navigators drawn together and focused on one mission.
These are the trails we want to ride. We want to check they exist. We want to check that they are legal and open. And we want to check that the map is accurate.
You all set? Ready, mate. Let's do this. Day 1.
like this spot because
We're just south of Arnez. That's where we're headed, that way.
One track's a good sign.
yeah, exactly.
This is two.
Lovely gravel stretch. And we'll put 646 down at that ruined farmhouse down there.
But it doesn't always go according to plan.
Yes, go this way to it. If it's chained off up there as well, it's out.
But the bridge on the old map is in the wrong spot.
Actually, it doesn't seem to exist. So 673 is actually now a cul-de-sac, isn't it? And at the moment, I'm struggling to do that.
But it's dead between them.
User error. This is the trail that we hope connects them together, but it's not on the map at all.
More often than you might imagine, the map is completely wrong, and the event's setup crews are using the map exactly as a participant would in the real thing. They have to do this so that the smallest inaccuracy can be picked up, logged, and passed on to competitors when they finally come out here.
We've both discovered from either side that we can't get through.
Austin, Di, Simon, Gerald, and Lois get frustrated and lost so that you don't have to. Sometimes the shortcomings in the map are severe enough to warrant the generation of an official note, which shows an excerpt of the original map and what it should be updated to. This is a time-consuming task. Nobody who does this navigation event will ever have their time wasted, so they can get on and enjoy the riding. Despite the setbacks, during the preparation phase, the team homes in on remote landmarks and ancient, abandoned Aragon farmsteads, specific points on the map, striking and vivid, that quietly accepted plaque, patiently waiting to be discovered a year later.
Wait a minute. So you've got the map here, GPS over here.
That's right.
What's she doing here?
Ah, this is a lucky witch. All you need to do is to rub her nose for a little bit of good luck. She likes that. And so she's keeping me safe. And for about €2.95, it's the best bit of safety kit money can buy, in my opinion.
As the sun goes down, the riding ends, but the work doesn't.
Each evening it's the big combination of collation and consolidation of all of the research that's been done during the day with red wine that's available only in 5-litre plastic containers. This makes for an interesting collision of precision and chaos.
Each new checkpoint that has been laid that day must have its details input to the team computer. Piece by piece, the single page of information that represents that checkpoint is painstakingly audited. A photo of the location, a map thumbnail, annotated with the exact position of the plaque, grid reference, checkpoint number, name, orientation, requirement, and of course, points value. When you've done all that, you have created one page from next year's booklet, and there are 80 in total. Any trail that was that day successfully proved is highlighted on the master overmarked map, a process that is often not as straightforward as Austin would like.
So this is just out really, isn't it? We didn't do that yesterday. Can we quickly add the actual checkpoint numbers onto here?
It's no.
All right.
So I want to write it from the other way down at some point and just see if that works.
But can that connection be made. This is all the
I'm
railway stuff.
going to
do, is
move
it?
that checkpoint for definite, mate, up to
Okay.
here if this becomes a viable trail.
Okay.
So, as the checkpoints are slowly created, the train spotter thrill of ticking off the numbers becomes a very big deal. Eventually, after a week of map reading, planning, checking, and not a little frustration, the team has earned a reward.
This is the Romanian special barbecue.
Oh my God!
Sausages, Romanian sausages. I think it's pork and beef, or maybe pork and I don't think we have 16, so you may share some bacon as well. And these are traditional.
It's time for the setup crew to pack up and go home, but they'll be back. This time in a hotel in a delightful mountain village, accompanied by the 100 participants who'll be enjoying the best trail riding in some of the most epic scenery in the world, but only because of the efforts of Stek, Rafi, Eric, Mark, Lawrence, Tudor, Michna, Wayne and Lisa, Nick, Lois, Gerald, Simon, Di, and Austin, the unsung heroes who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to create next year's very interesting navigation challenge event, the V.I.N.C.E.